Hey guys, it's Kelsey. I'm back with another scrapbooking process video. Today is exciting because we have a brand spanking new collaboration. Moira and Crystal put this together and it is called Mad About Mini Paper Pads. And I think this is a great concept. I feel like a lot of us have pocket cards or mini paper pads or these kind of smaller elements that stay in our stash that we forget to use. I am very guilty of this. I can't remember the last time I pulled out one of my small paper pads. So this is a great incentive for us to focus one layout a month to using our small paper pads. So today I pulled in one of my 6x8 paper pads. This is Auburn Lane by Pink Paisley. I love this paper pad. It's one of their fall collections, which I just love, love, love. Used it a lot when I first got it, and it's just been sitting in my stash and not been touched for well over a year. So I figured that there were some kind of coffee cups and mugs and cozy elements that I thought went with the How to Kill a Kit style theme for this month. So even though I'm not using my kit, I still kind of wanted to stay on theme a little bit, and I thought this collection was appropriate. I'm getting 3 photos of Billy from when he was 2 months old used up. This was like very shortly after I first got him, and I just wanted to document little things we were doing and his progress. So this top photo is us at Walmart, and he's being a very good boy and just laying down while we're in the checkout line. And his little puppy vest, which looks giant on him. It's so crazy how tight that vest got so quickly. But he just drowned in his little puppy vest when I first got him. The second photo is when we were at one of my mom's tennis matches. My mom played tennis a lot at this point, and so we always like to go watch him play tennis. So he's just rolling around in the grass on the spectator bench next to the court, and I thought that was really sweet. The bottom photo is just him eating lunch. So for the first couple weeks I had him, we fed the puppies 3 days a week. So it helps with blood sugar and all that kind of stuff if you feed them 3 times a week while they're really little. And then eventually we kind of split that middle meal out into the morning and evening meals. But this was just a part I wanted to document because it was temporary, and we were out and about running errands, and so I had my little bag with all of Billy's stuff in it. I felt like I was a newborn mom or something, because he literally had a diaper bag with all of his stuff in it. So you can just see we stopped. I think we went to the bread company or something, Atlanta Bread Company, for lunch. So he got to have his little lunch next to us out of that little Ziploc bag while we were eating. So just like little things I wanted to remember from this point in our life and his training. So I decided to mat all of those in a photo strip and mat it on some black. I am pulling in some black elements because there are some black patterns in the Auburn Lane collection, but I'm still going to be inking everything with the ground espresso distress oxide. I have this wood grain background I pulled in from the wood grain paper pad I've been using this month, just so I have a base for all of these layers. But everything else, all of these layers, I'm pulling from Auburn Lane, so I'm having to be strategic. I want these layers to look longer than the size that they are, so this is a really good way to kind of cheat that. So you can see where I kind of cheated this yellow piece looking like it's 12 inches long, but really there's a gap there that's covered by the pink paper, which looks longer than it is, but the gap is covered by the photos. So it's just a puzzle game for me, and I love playing with scraps this way. It used to be very frustrating for me when I didn't have the size papers that I needed to scrap with, so I became very efficient and creative in making them look the way I wanted them to when I just didn't have that. So I'm using a lot of those principles on this page. You can see I'm using multiple scraps of this black and white piece to make it look like a larger square piece of paper. But I'm really just trying to play with the scraps I have to compose this. I really wanted there to be this pink and brown. I love pink and brown together with this pops of the different black and white patterns, but I also love the introduction of the yellow because of Billy's fur and because of his little puppy in training coat that is yellow. So that's kind of the color scheme I'm going for this. I'm going to go ahead and glue down the photo strip. I really like that I made that photo strip slightly shorter than 12 inches so that you can see that yellow peeking at the top and bottom. It's another way to trick the eye to make that look like a larger piece of paper. And with the yellow, I wanted to use another scrap of the yellow to come out on this pink area where I'm going to create my little title area. Um, There's also a lot of cut aparts in here and a couple of die cuts I really wanted to use up. So with having this wood grain background, I really like this warm and cozy cut apart. And then with the yellow I'm pulling in, I really wanted to use one of these yellow die cuts or cut aparts. So I'm going to use the Wander. I thought that was appropriate because we're out and about. He's very curious at this age and he's learning a lot. So I thought the Wander was appropriate. I also liked including that in my film strip. It's kind of covering some busy area of that one photo that I just didn't need. And I like making that area useful by including this little cut apart within that photo strip area. So I'm just going to glue that down. It wasn't quite long enough to stretch to the edge of the photo, so I'm going to use this little floral die cut to layer on top of the edge so you can't see the gap. So I'm just planning on that being one of my embellishment clusters. I'm planning on the area I'm building to the right with that piece of yellow to be my big embellishment cluster with the title. And with having those two areas, I naturally want to go to the upper right hand corner to create my visual triangle with a little third cluster. So that's my plan. I decided to round the corners on this little die cut just so there weren't so many corners going on. I thought that added a little bit of interest. One of the things that I really wanted to incorporate on my off the board pineapple papers layout on Wednesday was the clusters I did in that original sketch that I pinned. And I never really got around to it. I used kind of the base layers that they did for that layout, but I didn't get to do the circle embellishment clusters that they used. So I'm going to incorporate that idea on this page for my clusters. I love the idea of using your scraps and using punches to create these focal points in layers. I think it's a really good way to use scraps and these smaller paper pads. So you'll see that when I kind of get to the embellishment point of this page, but I didn't want to forget that that's where I got my inspiration from, was that Pinterest pin I used for off the board. But I'm just going to add another layer of this black and white. I wanted a more substantial piece of that over here because I'm building this little cluster that's pulling all of these papers from the layout kind of into one area. So I'm going to have that as like a horizontal piece, having my little title, and now I'm popping up some of my embellishments. So this little flower pot's gonna get some foam. There's a couple little like squash that's really cute that I'm gonna pop up on some foam. And I just want to have a little bit of embellishment here with some of the stuff that's left over from this little paper pad. I also had some stickers from this paper pad, as well as the little embellishment kit that you guys have been seeing this month that I've been using for my How to Kill a Kit with Style with the sequins and paper clips and epoxy shapes. So I'm going to try and sneak some of that on here too, because this is actually the collection that it's meant to go on. The stickers are really thin, so I am backing them on some white. I'm not sure where they're going to go, but I wanted them to feel a little bit more substantial. So I just backed them on some white, and then now I can move them around until I know where I want them. But I just took August because these photos were taken in August, and Hello Fall because it's the beginning of fall, just so I can have some pops of that kind of coppery soft gold. That metallic is in my title with the warm and cozy, so I just wanted to make sure I had that metallic somewhere else on the page. I really didn't want this to be a metallic dominant page, but I feel like it was important to have a little glimmer of that in each of my clusters since it is introduced, so it just takes me a moment to do that. But I'm just going to layer both of those word stickers up there by the pot, and that's going to be my little metallic sparkle for that area. And then I think pretty sure I'm going to go in with my punch in a minute to do the circle layers that I was really excited to do from my my inspiration from the other day. Sorry, my voice is still a little funny. I'm doing this voiceover right after the other one where I just kind of mentioned I'm getting over being sick, but I'm fine now. It's just the residual funk in my throat. So I can't see what I'm doing, but I think I'm just trying to, put the little embellishment areas down on some foam. I really like the little bit of dimension that adds. And now I'm trying to figure out, I think, which papers I want to incorporate into my embellishment clusters. I wanted to use papers that were in my color scheme, but that were different papers than the ones I'm already using. I did also throw this doily on here because I wanted another kind of textural layery element that wasn't blocky. So I really like that. That also pulls in some white from that black and white paper because there's not a lot of white on here. So I like that addition. But now I think I'm pulling out my circle punches and I'm pulling out a couple pieces of paper that are within my color scheme. I really like this pink scrap because it also has that soft coppery foiling on it. So that'll help bring that copper to all three of my clusters as well. I'm pulling in, and the other paper is just a black and white floral, just again to emphasize the black and white. I don't want the black and white to stand out like it doesn't look like it belongs. So I think adding another black and white paper helps with that. So I'm just punching 3 different size circles in both of these papers, and I'm just mixing and matching the sizes and the patterns within my 3 embellishment clusters. And I just think it's such a cute, easy way to embellish, and all you need is a punch in your scraps. So I'm trying to figure out which size is going to go where. And then I'll get all of that stuck down. But I loved that part of that last sketch. So I'm glad I got to at least incorporate it on this page. So there's the black and white floral I'm going to use. It took me a minute to figure out what I wanted the other paper to be, but I really like this one. So just going to do a couple punches in that. And what's nice is because some of these circles are going to be layered or tucked under other things, you don't have to worry about being a whole circle. So I'm just trying to get as much of the circle as I can on the punch, and then whatever is cut off, I just know that part is going to be hidden by something else. So this is kind of what I'm thinking for the circle clusters. I'm just trying to do a visual triangle, and then I wanted some yellow up in the upper right hand corner because the other 2 clusters have yellow. So I also have the puffy sticker sheet from this collection that I really wanted to at least get 1 sticker on this page. So I got that little ticket that says "This is Bliss," and I like that little pop of yellow up there in the corner. So I think everything looks very balanced. It makes me very happy. So I'm gonna work on getting these circles down. I'm making sure I'm inking all of them. I fiddle around a little bit with the positioning, but I think kind of what I ended up with worked out well. And then for my finishing touch, I'm going to go back to the little embellishment pack and use the epoxy stickers because those have also been in my stash forever. For some reason, I don't want to put those with the rest of my enamel shapes so that I use them. I keep them with the collection that they're meant to go with, and then since I haven't been using this paper pad, I haven't been seeing all of this embellishment that I could be using with other projects. So now that I'm pulling it out, I'm really trying to make a point to use something from each of the things that I had stored with it. So I have the paper pad I'm getting used, I have the die cut pack I'm getting used, cut aparts, sticker sheet, puffy stickers, and then a little embellishment pack for the epoxy shapes. So I feel like I did it justice. I think my circles are almost down. I went through with those epoxy shapes, and then I didn't want to do too much journaling. It just says out and about, but I did want to label each of the photos. So just next to the photo, the bottom when I say lunchtime, the middle when I say watching tennis, and the top when I said Walmart shopping, just so there was a little bit of, you know, labeling what all of these random photos were about. But thank you guys so much for watching. So here are the close-ups. Make sure you check out everyone else playing along with Mad About Mini paper pads. I think it's going to be a really fun project. It's going to be the 3rd Saturday of every month. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.